Hello, hello. How are you all doing? Everybody okay? I do seem to start the videos exactly the same way each time, don't I? But I suppose that's just having a conversation with somebody. Hi, how you all doing? Welcome to Wednesday. I can't remember what day. The 8th of March. No, not March. We're April, aren't we? Yeah, so Wednesday. I know, halfway through April already. Well, not really, but first week's gone. How's everybody okay? Everybody doing? I'm feeling a little worried today. Had a message from my sister last night, and things are getting a little bit crazy in one of the hospitals she's in. So that's a little bit worrying, isn't it? It's difficult when you're. Hi, Sean. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, when you're worried for somebody and know that she's putting herself in danger going into the NHS all the time. So yeah, feeling a little worried today and a bit busy because we're packing up all the Hochanda orders from yesterday's shows, which is nice, and packing up lots of orders from our website as well. So thank you very much, guys, if you've ordered. That's really lovely of you all. So we're on to our third block of the week, which is amazing. I mean, how have I really been doing this for 3 weeks? Feels like a lot longer. So yeah, we're going to be doing our third block, and that's the Drunkards Path block, which we talked about last week. Hopefully you guys saw the cutting instructions and saw I've emailed quite a few people the template as well. So the template we're using is from a different pattern. Hi guys, our Heather's online and so's Maria, lovely. So the pattern, the template that we're using is what's the word? It's a template from a different pattern. So I emailed you the whole pattern. So bonus, free pattern. But we're just going to use the template that's on the bottom of that because it's a really good paper template, and it was exactly the right size of what we needed. So hopefully you guys have got all that and you're all ready to go. So as there's quite a few of you coming online now, I'm going to flip round, give the phone to, you made the sunflower pattern, Marilyn, absolutely. And that's it. You'll be fine with this block because if you can do that sunflower cushion, you can do this, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to flip you round and I'm going to give the phone to Drew. Okay, so there we go. So back to normal. There's groups, and away we go. Okay. Hi. So everybody still hear me and see me? So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a really traditional Drunkard's Path. Okay. So it doesn't matter which way up it goes. It is a 12.5-inch block still, just like the others, so they should all fit together. But I'm going to show you a technique that I use for putting them together, which comes from what's the word? Curve It Up people. Sorry. So we've done quite a lot of the Curve It Up classes in the shop and stuff, and how they sew curves just seems to work every time. And I'm also going to show you some tricks on how to square curves up as well, which I know is an oxymoron, but how to get the curve right so when you join them together you don't lose anything. Okay, so this is what we're doing. Okay, so I'm still using my Janet Claire fabrics, the origami ones. So this is the 4th or 5th block I've made out of those fat quarters, and there's still quite a load left. So it's amazing what you can get out of a fat quarter, isn't it? So hopefully you've all managed to get hold of the pattern, the template, and you need to cut it out. Okay, so the template was on the sheet that I sent you guys, like that. And you need to cut it out. Okay, so you've got 2 paper templates. You could do, if you're going to make lots of these, if you decide you want a whole quilt at a Drunkard's Path, I would suggest making them out of template plastic, something that's a little bit more durable. But if you were just going to do one block, just out of card will be absolutely fine, or thin, thickish paper will be fine. So you need your template. And then I put on the cutting instructions. You need your background fabric. You're going to need 8 5.25-inch squares. Okay, so I've got my 8 and 2 sets of 4 there. And then I'm going to do this sample, and I'm going to use 2 colours, but you can use however many colours you want. It really doesn't matter. You could use 1 or you could use 8, but you need 8 5.25-inch squares in a colour or colours. Okay, again, personal preference and choice. It looks lovely done in either. I've chosen just to do 2, so I've got 4 in each on this. But you could do it all 8 in one. first thing we're going to do is you're going to stack them up. How many you stack up is entirely up to you. I find that I can cut 4 quite easily. So I've got 4 of my squares, all right sides up. So I hope you can see, so that's right side. Actually, let me show you on this one, because this is easier to see the right and wrong side. So I've got them all stacked up, all right sides up, like this, okay, in a little stack of 4. So, and you're going to do this, I mean, you might find that you don't like to cut 4 and you can draw it out on each square if you want, but I find it's 4 works fine. You know, do whatever's comfortable to you, for you guys. You know, you've got time, but obviously with the little tutorial, I want to make sure that you get through it all. So I do 4. I'm just going to iron off the Friction pen actually, so I can show you exactly what I'm doing here. So with the templates, you want to put one down into one bottom corner like this. Let me just move the ironing board, and you might be able to see a little bit better. So you're going to put one down in the corner like this, okay, and you're going to draw around that template. So with any erasable marker, it doesn't even matter if it's in pencil, because you're never going to see this line. It's going to be in your seam allowance. Okay, so I'm just going to draw around, and I'm doing it in red just so you guys can see it nice and easily, like that. And then you're going to put this part of the template up in this top corner. Okay, and you're going to draw round that one. Okay, now there are lots and lots out there of acrylic rulers for Drunkard's Path, so if you like this method you can always do that, because you can then use a rotary cutter. I choose not to, I'm just using this one, and I'm just going to cut out, just with scissors, I need to cut out all my shapes. Okay, so I'm going to cut out around here, and again it doesn't have to be overly accurate, because it's all going to disappear in the seam allowance when we start squaring it up, like sewing and squaring up. Okay, so I mean, you know, try and be a bit careful, but don't worry too much. Okay, so you're going to cut them all out like that. Okay, so you end up with 2 pieces like that. Okay, right, so you now need to do that to all of your pieces. Now if you are sewing along with us, okay, you might not have time to do them all, okay, so I would suggest maybe just doing a couple, you know, one lot of your backgrounds for now, and then just like one of each colour of all, you know, just so you've got a couple to play with to sew along with. If you're just watching, I would cut them all out to start with. All right, so just while I'm cutting mine out quickly, it doesn't take long, particularly if you put them 4 together like I've done here. You can just snip through them nice and easily. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Just while you don't need to watch me cut. So how's everyone doing? Talk to me, ladies. How are you all? Everybody all right? Anybody done anything really crazy, or what interesting things have you been doing? Have you been watching anything interesting? I'm redoing the whole of Buffy on Netflix. It's a proper guilty pleasure. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Love it. Always did. And so they not Netflix, Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime. So so I've been binge watching that while I've been sewing. So I'm enjoying that. It's a proper little blast from the past. My husband's not enjoying it very much, mind. He's been moaning a weeny bit about the fact I'm watching so much Buffy, but I don't care. He's not normally here. So yeah, we've got another virtual pub quiz on Zoom on Saturday, which is going to be interesting. Actually, while I'm cutting, that's something please do comment. So we're thinking about doing a Zoom class, okay? So if you'd be interested, it would be a more sort of substantial class. So it would be sort of, you know, maybe two hours or so. And you would all need to, you'd have to sort of download the app onto a laptop or a phone or a tablet, something you can watch along. It would be a paid thing. So is that something you guys would be interested in? You know, are you happy to use Zoom and log into a class where I could actually take you through sort of a full project rather than just little bits and pieces. So do comment and let me know, because if you are interested, that's something we can set up. Okay, we've been looking into it, and it's actually relatively easy to set up. So please do, if it's something you'd be interested in doing a remote class, we can get that sorted. Okay.
Charlotte, how many Hachanda orders have you packed today?
How many have we packed today? We've done about 60 at the moment, but there was a bit of a mess up with Parcel Force, unfortunately, and we're waiting for the rest of stuff to be re-delivered today. So hopefully we'll get the rest of it done. I think we've done about 60 so far. So we're ploughing through them. I've left Sarah over in the shop now. She's cutting some more kits ready for to go out as soon as the rest of the stuff arrives. So been a busy girl. Oh, we both have today actually. So you saw how quick that was for me to cut these up. Okay, and what you want to do now is you're going to match them up. So you're going to use a background. What's that one? The concave. That's the concave because that's going in. So the background concave to a coloured convex. Okay, so you want to match those two. And then you want to do a background concave. No, you never remember the right word. That's the convex. That's the concave. So you're going to put the other bit, the spare bit, with that bit. Okay, so you've got like the opposites. So you want to do that for all of your pieces. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do all of them now, because obviously we'd be here for like not 3 hours. It didn't take that long. It took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours to make the whole block. That was with my squaring up and everything. Okay, so
Linda and Heather said it'd be a good idea to do the class.
Yeah.
Andy Griffiths asked, that sounds good. How much would it cost?
Don't know yet. It would depend on what class we're going to do. But if we've got enough people interested, then maybe that's something we'll set up for the end of next week. But yes, it would. Let me sort of investigate later more. In fact, Sian might be able to get on that for me, because I know she's working from home. So yeah, find out how much Zoom is, because I know you get 40 minutes free, but I don't think that's long enough for a class. So we'll look at how much it is, and then we'll get some ideas of some classes. But it wouldn't obviously be as much as a normal class in the shop, because it's it's slightly different, and I'm not feeding you tea and cake, am I? But we will have a little look at it, okay, and come up with some prices and some ideas of projects, and then get back to you in the next couple of days. But if we've got, sort of 6-10 people interested, it's definitely worth us trying something.
Sian
okay?
says she's on it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Sian. See, she's a good girl. She is. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do there is just. I'm going to I'm going to not use these ones just at the moment, because I want to get to the sewing bit. There we go. So I've just got my two colours. I don't know if you can see that, guys. Drew, can you see that? There we go. Let's move all this out of the way. So I'm just pairing up. So one of those with one of those, and I'm swapping them over. Okay, so one of those, and that's the two colours. Obviously, if you're doing lots of colours, you're just going to have two pairs in each colour, or if you're doing all one, it's all the same. So we're going to move over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to show you how to sew these. There is no pinning involved, okay? Traditionally, with a drunkard's path, you mark the centres, you mark the centre of this, and you pin it all down. With this method, with the curve it up method, we don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to take these to the sewing machine, and I'm still on my little one because my big one's really poorly. It's really not working. Okay, I would suggest, if you've got one, use your 1/4 inch foot with this. Okay, because actually the guide really helps to get the curve correct. If you don't, just obviously you can use a 1/4 inch allowance and move your foot over. But I do find it a bit easier with the guide, this method. Okay, so we are going to put that one, the convex one, on the bottom. And this one is going to fit like this, okay? But we want them to be right sides together. So I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to line this up on the edge just there, okay? So at the minute it looks really bizarre. It looks like it's not going to fit, but it will, I promise, okay? And we're going to take that to the sewing machine, and using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to take just 2 or 3 little stitches just to anchor it. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay. Now normally we sew with our hands this way, okay? But you want to cross your hands doing this method. It feels odd when you first do it, but as I'm sure Marilyn and Carrie will tell you, they've both done this method with me, and Kathleen when she did her curve it up quilts, and Linda Pinch, it's really odd to start with, but when you get used to turning your hands, the curves go together much easier. So you're going to use your left hand to pick up the right hand side and the right hand to pick up the left. Okay, so I've got my hands opposite to what I normally would. Does that make sense? So normally you'd sew like this, so I'm going to sew like this. Okay, now Drew, I don't know if you can film through here, love, so people can see. So I've got my left hand on this bit, the right hand over here. All I'm doing is I'm just fitting, I tend to use my middle finger, and I'm just lining those edges up about 1/2 inch along, okay? And then I'm gonna just stitch that flat. Let me turn this down so you can see it slowly, okay? And then I'm gonna line up again about half to 3/4 of an inch along. I'm going to take a few more stitches. Oh, maybe that's a bit too slow now. A few more stitches like that. Okay. And then I'm going to, again, a few inches along, hold it down. And a little bit more. And all I'm doing is just, I'm not pulling it, I'm not stretching it, I'm just lining it up on that edges together. And then I'm keeping those edges against the guide. So I've got my 1/4 inch. Okay. And down we go again. And down we go again. Okay. And if it starts to pucker at all like that, because it will pucker a little bit, just lift your foot, keep your needle down, lift your foot, just move that fabric out of the way. There we go. And find a little bit. Like that. Okay. It will feel really strange to start with, okay? It's going to feel odd and it will feel really alien having, you know, like that. But just persevere with it, because it means you don't have to use any pins and it works all the time, okay? So I don't know if you can see, now I'll iron it in a second for you, but I'm going to do that again. You've got, that's fitted into that curve, lovely. Doesn't matter that it's slightly out of shape, because I'm going to show you how to square them up, okay? So I'm going to do that again for you with a different colour. So, convex one on the bottom, the concave one's going to go like that, so it goes right sides together, and you're going to line up this little bit here, okay? So I'm going to take 2 or 3 little stitches just to anchor it. So just straight, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to cross my hands. How's everybody doing with this? Is this making sense, ladies? Is it feeling okay? And then I'm going to take 2 or 3 little stitches, reline up. And like I said, I'm not stretching it, I'm just manoeuvring it so that it lines up, edges together. Okay. And because I've crossed my hands, if I was trying to do it here, like we would normally, I can't see the fabric. So by crossing my hands and using my left hand to guide, like this, I can actually see what I'm doing, because my right hand's basically out of the way. It's not impeding my vision at all, my view at all. So there we go, and round we go, and down. Okay. So you would do that with all of your pairs, okay? So you should have 16 pairs in total. So you would do that with all 16. You just keep stitching them together, and they look a bit odd, and they look at, oh, see, I've got a little tiny pucker in that one. Give it a wiggle. There you go, it's gone. They look a bit out of shape and everything at the moment. You come back over this way because I'm going to iron these out for you. Now, I tend to iron them. You can iron the seam open if you want to, but I find that it naturally wants to go that way, okay, with this method. So I'm going to iron that out like that, okay.
Mary asked, where do you lay the fabric?
Where do I lay the fabric?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by that, lovely. Where do I lay the fabric? So I'm lining the fabric up, the edges. So as I'm stitching, I've got the convex one, concave one on the bottom, convex one on top. Okay, like hang on, let me show if I can show you here, like this. Okay, so you're going to lay them out like that. That's right sides up, and then I'm going to put them right sides together. I'm going to line that up like that, and you're going to take 2 or 3 little stitches, and then if I turn it, and what I'm doing is I'm crossing my hand, so my bottom fabric is like that, and I'm using this hand, and I'm lining up this edge here, this round edge, with this edge as I'm going round. So what I'm doing, hopefully you can see this, so as I'm stitching, I'm lining up that edge to that edge, and then that to that, and sewing just a little bit, and then that to that. Because it's a curve, it's slightly it's on the bias, so it's, you can see it stretches. Hopefully that makes sense. Can you see that? So, and then I'm stitching that down. Hopefully that's what you meant.
Jackie asked, are you using a 1/4 inch foot?
I am, yes, 1/4 inch foot with a guide. It does make it easier because that edge has got something to butt against, okay? And then you can see it. And now what I'm doing is I'm just going to gently press that out.
Maria said thank you.
Cool. Hopefully that's what you meant, lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to press this out like that, okay? And like I said, can you see how wonky that edge there is? Okay, does that make, can you see? Can you see it's all a bit buckled and everything? It doesn't matter because we're going to square them all up and they look lovely when they're squared up. So, squaring up. Now, hopefully, your guys are going to be able to see this and Drew's going to be able to capture it. We want these to be 3.5 inches square. Okay, so Drew, if you just come back up to me a second. So, each one of these little individual sections are 3.5 inches square. Okay, so if you remember when we were talking about squaring up the other day, what you need to do is, I'm just going to grab something white to put behind, here we go, behind the ruler, and then hopefully I can show you. So there's 2 little spaces you want to note on the ruler for squaring up curves. So these are going to be 3.5, so I want the 3.5 by the 3.5. So that's that little mark there, okay, just here. And then, can you see, so this line here on my ruler is a 1/4 inch down, the 3.5, and again, this one here is my 1/4 inch in. Okay, does that, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. You can see on your rulers. If I show you on this one, because it's a different make of ruler, but can you see on here, so there's my 3.5 line to my 3.5 line there. And then I've got this 1/4 inch down and line is 1/4 inch there. So these 2 little marks here are the ones I'm looking for. So it's on whatever, you know, if it was a 4 inch, it would be 4 inches and down, but we're doing 3.5. So it's on the 3.5 inch line, but it's down 1/4 inch and it's in 1/4 inch there, okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you ladies. Okay. So what we're going to do is, in order to get your curves all looking the same, that 1/4 inch down is the important bit. All right, so I'm going to find that 1/4 inch, so 3.5 and then 1/4 inch down, which is just there, and I'm going to sit that right on the curve. Can you see how that's right on the curve? And then I'm going to find my 3.5 and then 1/4 inch in, and I'm going to sit that on my curve this side. And you can move it around, okay, until you've got both. So hopefully the camera's picking this up. So I've got my 3.5 inch line and it's 1/4 inch in, and my 3.5 inch line here and it's 1/4 inch in, and that 1/4 inches are both touching that curve. The other thing before you start cutting you need to check is that you've got plenty of fabric to actually cut off. It might be only a couple of threads, but you've got fabric to cut off. You don't want to come over here and then suddenly realise that you haven't got any fabric. Okay, so I'm going to just reline that back up. There's my 3.5 there, there's my 3.5, and then down 1/4 and down 1/4 on that curve. And I'm going to just go up the side and across the top. Okay, so you can see we're not getting rid of very much on the top. And then I'm going to turn it, and now I can just do my normal 3.5, 3.5, okay, like that. And then I'm going to trim down this and this. Okay, so that's my 3.5 inch block, curved block, squared up. And the reason we do that with the 1/4 inch is because I've now got 1/4 inch here from there to there, and 1/4 inch from there to there, which is important when you're sewing them together. So obviously if you had like 3/4 inch this side and only 1/8 up here, when you sewed them together you wouldn't get regular curves. Okay, did that make sense? Hope it did. I'll do it on the other block. Okay, I'll do it on this block for you so that you've got that again, just so that hopefully it made sense. So in fact, if I do it facing towards you, hopefully you'll be able to see. So I'm working backwards now, ladies, so bear with me. So my 3.5 inch line is here, and there's my 1/4 inch down. So that's on that top curve. And then my 3.5 is here, 3.5. There's my 1/4 inch, so I want to move it over till it hits that curve. And can you see? There and there. Okay, right, I'm just going to stand up so I can just trim these off for you, okay, without it getting in the way. And Drew's just going to move out of my way a second. Ooh, that moved slightly. There we go. Okay, I'm trying to do it towards you so that it's it hopefully, because it'll be the right way rather than upside down for you. So there we go. So I've trimmed those two sides, and then I'm going to turn that. So that would be to your bottom left now, and now I can do my 3.5 and 3.5, and I would trim it off there and there. Okay. How does that making sense? Is everybody okay with that? Does anybody need me to go through anything again?
Jenny just said it makes perfect sense. I hope I will be able to remember it later when I make this.
Oh, cool. We'll just go have the little video and stick me on pause and stuff. You have to excuse me, my landline's going, which never happens, which probably means it's a cold caller. So, yeah, we won't be talking to them. Okay, so you would make up all 16 of your blocks. So some of them are going to look like this, and some of them will look this way. Do you guys want me to do this one as well? Shall I put this one together once more, just so you've got it?
Maria said, woohoo, done one. Not sure where my hands would go doing though.
That's okay. It's just practice, love, okay? The more it does feel odd, but try and get your hands, like, instead of being parallel to each other like that, cross them over, and then it just practice. It works all the time, and it means you don't have to worry about pins and everything, and it works really well. So.
And then Marilyn said you make it look so easy.
I've done it quite a lot though, love. I'm quite practiced at this, you know, it is just practice. And your cushion was beautiful, Marilyn. You did a fab job on this, so I know you can do this. Okay, so you'd have 8 that look this way, and then you would have 8 that look like that, you know, with the coloured bit in the bottom, okay? And then you are literally going to lie out, you're going to follow the pattern that's... I'm not going... So if you look at the picture on Facebook, okay, and I will put this one on as well for you, written instructions. The written instructions for this is really difficult, okay? I learnt it through a YouTube video. There aren't really written instructions for how to hold your hands and square it up, okay? I would suggest just going back through the video, and I will put the video onto YouTube as well. But if you want, I'll put a picture of this on for you so you can see the first row. If I just do that, the first row is, you've got one of those like that, yeah, so that one, and then this one, you've got, oh, where is it? One of these, not that I've made it, like that, okay? And then this one you can see is one of those ones, like that. And you just need to be careful. And then this one, which is the last one, would be like that, okay? So I would sew my row together, and then sew my next row, and sew my next row, and sew my next row, and then put those rows together. There aren't really written instructions for this, like I was saying, so I can't put anything on the website for you to purchase as such. So I would suggest, I'll put a picture of this on, so you've got colour-wise that you can follow along with. And there was the picture on the cutting instructions of the whole colour one. If you want to, I can try and do a graphic later on for you guys, but we've been a little bit teeny bit busy with Hochanda the last couple of days, and I haven't had a chance to do a graphic for this. But hopefully all of that made sense.
Sandra says I've cut one, I think she's put three 1/2. No, three
1.5s.
Is that square? And that's quite a lot to come off. Is that right?
Yeah, so you started with 5 1/4 and you square it down to 3.5. And yeah, you do, oh, well, let me show you. So where I was squaring those ones up, you do lose quite a bit, but because you're working with biases and things stretch so much, that's why we cut them at 5 1/4 and then cut down. If you cut it, say 4, you could probably get a 3.5 out. But you saw when I did that first one how wonky it was and everything, and you square it down. It's much, personally, cutting a 5, and that's certainly what the sunflower pattern was that I sent you all out. Cutting 5 1/4, you don't lose a lot. Okay, you do lose some. Okay. But you don't cut off a massive amount. I would cut it slightly bigger and have to waste a little bit than cut it and have to waste the whole thing because it's not 3.5. Hopefully that makes sense. I say that a lot, don't I? I've noticed with the videos I say, so we're gonna, and does that make sense? I say it a lot. I am sorry. You have to tell me to shut up. But yeah, it's a bit difficult. But yeah, I really, really need to stop saying so we're gonna, and yeah. Does that make sense? Everybody okay? Everybody understand what we're doing with that? If you need more instruction, please, please, please give me a call. Drop me an email, okay? Maybe before like 6 o'clock in the evening would be nice, because I was still getting emails at like 11:15 last night, and I'm trying to ignore them after about 9 o'clock. So if you want to drop me an email, please do. I will get back to them. But yeah, I was in bed last night, and at 11:15 I had an email come through, and I'm thinking, just leave your phone alone. So I'm going to try not to do that. But yeah, if you've got any questions about this one, drop us a message. I don't know if you can just see actually here on the, can you see that's why we do that little 1/4 inch, so that they join together like that. There's another one there. Otherwise, if you had less than a 1/4 inch, when you joined them together, you'd be sewing into this piece here. Okay.
Sandra says that looks about the same as my waist. Thank you.
Cool. Fabulous. Okay. Any other questions, ladies? Can I do and ask anybody? Answer, not ask anybody. Answer anybody. No, you're all good. So next week I'm going to have a new block for you. I can't decide. There's 2 that I really like, and I can't decide which ones to do. So I might do a foundation piece in one, and I might do a simple machine. You might get 2 next week. You might get 2 next Wednesday, because I can't decide. Let's see. Okay. But yeah, I'll get on that for you in the next couple of days. Don't forget that our quilts are still on the website, okay? We've sold quite a few of them, but there are a few left still. So they were supposed to come off at 1 o'clock, but frankly, I'm really busy and I haven't got time to get on the website. So you've got probably till about 6 o'clock before I get on there and change the prices on them. So if you did want one of the quilts that I was showing you yesterday, pop onto the website before I change the price back. So cool. Happy sewing, ladies. Sarah Jane's going to be on tomorrow. She is going to be doing a little mouse pincushion, which we've just been chattering and come up with about 12 different ideas of what you can do with them. So if you don't want another pincushion, you can still make these and do loads of other things with them. So yeah, going to do that tomorrow. So Sarah Jane's going to be on tomorrow, and then I will be back on Friday. And I think I'm going to do Moore's bags because... No, I'm not. Friday, I'm going to do drawstring bags because we're going to do some large versions that if you want to donate to nurses and care workers, you can. And then I'm going to give you instructions for smaller ones as well so that you can use them for project bags and things. Okay? And they're a really, really lovely way of using up, you know, all those random fat quarters that you've got lying around. So Friday we're going to do drawstring bags. We've also got loads and loads of piping cord in the shop, which you can use for the particularly on the larger ones for the nurses, which we're going to do as a special offer on the website. So if you want piping cord for your drawstring bags, we can do that too. So yeah, that's it. That's everything. I won't see you tomorrow. I will see you Friday, but don't forget to tune in for Sarah because she will be about. Oh, there's a massive magpie in the garden. Just the one. Good morning. And I will see you Friday. Take care, guys. Bye.